All right, it's that time again. A little between the lines with our good friend Cam Tucker, who looks like we dragged him in off the beach. I know we're bad like that. We're interrupting guys on their family vacations. Now, where the heck are you, Cam? Are you down in Mexico? Jeez,
No, I am in the Maritimes. I am in Nova Scotia right now where it is
close.
hot and muggy. Yeah, close. Hey, look, we've had lobster dinner, we've had some country cookouts, we spent a couple of days at the beach. And yeah, if it looks like I got some sun, that's because I have. It has been sunny and hot here this whole time that the family and I have been here. But yeah, it's been a great trip. It's been amazing. And like I said on Canada Day when I joined you guys, such nice people here in the Maritime. So it's been a lot of fun.
All right, well, let's get into it, and we won't keep you long because I know you're enjoying every day on the in the beautiful Maritimes. But let's start talking about the win over Montreal. Of course, everyone talking about Sean White and Nathan Rourke, rightfully so. But a couple of interesting totals. I mean, he had Justin McInnes go over 100 yards, Stanley Berryhill, just the 4 catches, but for 85 and a touchdown. Besides that, what stood out?
Well, I think it was just the fact that the BC Lions, there were certainly a lot of things for them to clean up in their game, and I the one thing that stands out in my mind is penalties, but they were able to overcome that. And for me, yeah, it was the big night by Justin McInnes. That's kind of what we are expecting from Justin McInnes, week to week is those standout performances. And that was his best of the season. He was very good, but I think the thing that stands out for me is the fact that they showed some resolve, 28 seconds to go. You're able to drive the ball down the field, and it just shows that Nathan Rourke really is the engine of this team. He makes a couple of passes. Javon Katoy, has the awareness to catch that ball, get the first down, move the chains, but then he also goes down with 1 second left to go so that they can kick or at least give Sean White the chance to kick that game-winning field goal. So I think that there were a lot of things from that game where you'd want to clean up the mistakes and the penalties, but they showed a lot of resolve, and their big players had big nights. And I don't think that Nathan Rourke was playing at 100% in that game. I think that, throughout the evening, there's probably some throws that if Nathan was at 100%, he'd probably be able to make those passes. But, when he is in those pressure situations, he can deliver. That's what you need from your star players. When you put the ball into the quarterback's hands late in the game to go down the field and get a game-winning drive, that's what you want. And Nathan Rourke, I think, especially in that fourth quarter, really delivered for the BC Lions. And it just, when you have Nathan Rourke in your lineup, you can't ever count this team out.
And Cam, the road show must go on. So the Lions go to Edmonton this Sunday. What are the opening lines looking like for the BC Lions at Edmonton Elks?
Yeah, so the Lions have opened as 3.5 point favorites on the road, which I thought was interesting. I mean, I think that is in some ways to be expected because Nathan Rourke has had such great success against the Edmonton Elks. In the four games that he started against Edmonton in his career with the Lions, and the Lions really have owned this matchup. They're 9-1 straight up against the Elks in the last 10 matchups. They're 8-2 against the spread. So maybe at a first glance, it's not really surprising that they opened up as favorites on the road in this matchup, but Edmonton's coming off of that loss. Edmonton's coming off of that win against Ottawa. And they had some really good things go their way in that game. Trey Ford, I thought was efficient throwing the ball. And Justin Rankin was a beast running the ball and in the pass game as well. He was their leading receiver. So they had some good things going for them. That's a big win for Edmonton to kind of get them off of the schneid here. And, um, for the Lions, now it's about replicating the good things that you did in Montreal and being able to get another win here to get to the 500 mark. So the Lions opened as favorites on the road, 3.5 points. We'll see if that, switches throughout the week. And the over-under, I believe was at 51.5, which is a little bit high considering that the under has had success in this matchup in the last 7 games. It's been the over is 1-6 in the last 7 matchups between these teams. So for the Lions, they're favorites on the road. Big opportunity here, though, for them to get to 500. So I think that you're going to see two teams right now with some urgency. The Lions trying to get back to 500, back-to-back wins, clean up some of the things that, some of the mistakes from the game in Montreal. And for Edmonton, that was a big win against Ottawa. So they want to obviously put their best foot forward as well. And the one thing about the underdogs in last week's action, they were 3-1 against the spread, but they were also 3-1 straight up. So the underdogs kind of had the way with the matchups last weekend. We'll see if that continues into the next week as well.
All right, I think we can all agree the statement of the week in the Canadian Football League was probably Calgary laying a beat down on Winnipeg. And they go into Saskatchewan on Friday night, and they're an underdog this week, Cam. Expand on that.
Yeah, and I was just as shocked, I think, as a lot of people were in that game. I really expected Winnipeg to come out and not only get the win, but cover the spread. And that did not happen. That was not even close. Calgary Stampeders, I think, full marks for that victory. They were up big at halftime and just kind of cruised to the win. And for Vernon Adams, that was a very good performance. He didn't turn the ball over. He had two touchdown passes, his first two TD passes for the Stamps. So they looked really good against Winnipeg. But you're right, Matt. They go into this matchup with the Saskatchewan Roughriders right now as 5-point underdogs. And look, Saskatchewan is the only undefeated team left in the CFL. They are playing really good football, and they're a tough team. So I think that this is going to be a really interesting game. We'll see how it plays out. Saskatchewan, again, favored at home. The one thing about the Roughriders, they've been favored in all four of their matchups this year. They're 4-0 against the spread. So they've been playing really good football. We'll see if that can continue against the Stamps this week.
Yeah, Vernon Adams Jr. is definitely in his yeehaw era, as the kids would say. Cam, it's early. We're recording this on Tuesday. Games on Sunday. But what are you looking at for your bet boost this week on PlayNow.com?
Yeah, I think right now we got to focus on Nathan Rourke and what he's done against the Edmonton Elks. I mean, he's feasted on this team since he took over as the starter for the Lions in the 2022 season. And, I was crunching the numbers. It's like not only is Nathan Rourke throwing the ball ridiculously well against the Elks in his career, he also has had great success running the ball. So I think that right now you kind of got to go with the hot hand in this matchup. When Nathan Rourke is behind center for the Lions, he's absolutely owned the Elks. And so we're going to focus on definitely the star quarterback for the Lions. We'll look at maybe doing some parlaying, some passing yards. I think 300 passing yards is a really good milestone for Nathan Rourke. So we'll look at that and see what his rushing numbers will be. He's had against the Elks, it's really interesting because he's had games where he's had, 50 plus yards, 40 plus yards of running the football against the Elks. So we're going to look at adding that into the equation as well. And his last game, the home opener against Edmonton, we added Nathan Rourke 2+ touchdown passes into the parlay, and that hit that selection hit in week 1. And I think that we're going to probably go back to the well on that one as well. So we're going to cook this one up here. Nathan Rourke, I think he's going to be featured prominently in this parlay, but he's the one that we want to focus on for sure.
All right, my friend. Well done as always, and enjoy your last few days of sun and beach time. And don't forget to reapply the sunscreen, okay?
No kidding, right? I'm trying to squeeze one more lobster dinner in this trip.
I think we're in the aloe phase right now.
Have one, yeah.
It's not as red as it looks. Trust me, for the viewers out there, right now I'm in a room where the walls are like a pinkish purple. So I think that that's also playing some.
There you go.
It does. Trust me. We
not as red as I look.
Got the green tip.
But look, you know what? It's a good tip, guys. Reapply the sunscreen for sure because it's definitely been hot here.
Have a lobster for us.
See you guys.